all, welcome back. It's Fleur from Fleurs by Design. Today I'm going to start a back to school video, and the first thing I'm going to do is make some magnets for a little magnetic board that I bought that I'm going to redo our front hallway, kind of a little command center for a place for the kids to put their stuff so we don't lose it. I'm going to be using these cool little words here. This is from the Paige Evans Fancy Free collection, and I'm going to be using my Epiphany Craft Shape Studio tool, just the round one, and I'm going to turn these into magnets for the board. So I'm going to be back to show you how I do that in just 1 second. Hi all, welcome back. It's Fleur from Fleurs by Design. Today I'm going to start a back to school video, and the first thing I'm going to do is make some magnets for a little magnetic board that I bought that I'm going to redo our front hallway, kind of a little command center for a place for the kids to put their stuff so we don't lose it. I'm going to be using these cool little words here. This is from the Paige Evans Fancy Free collection, and I'm going to be using my Epiphany Craft Shape Studio tool, just the round one, and I'm going to turn these into magnets for the board. So I'm going to be back to show you how I do that in just 1 second. So using these Epiphany Crafts tool is super easy. You just slide the paper in. So I've got the paper. This is I Like It, just one of the words from these little circle things, and I'm going to use that one. And then you take the little epoxy top and you put it on top of the words or the paper, whatever you have in there, and then you're just going to shut the lid and push it down just like you do with a punch, and it basically punches it out and sets it at the same time. You can take the paper out and then it just pops out like that. And the way I'm going to turn these into magnets is I am going to use this Xyron magnet tape, and it just is like a little tape dispenser, and I'm just going to put the tape onto the back and then they will turn into little magnets. So basically with this tape you just take as much as you need, and I'm just going to take a big piece. It's already sticky on one side, which is perfect, so we are going to attach that to it, and I want to cover the whole back, so I'm going to attach that, and then I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and trim around the circle. I want as much magnet as I can on there because these will probably be holding photos or something like that on them. So I'm just going to take my scissors, trim off the excess, and just cover as much of the back as I can with the magnets. And I'm just going to do that, and I'll show you how I do the next two as well so you can see how easy it is. So you just want to clean it up so it's nice and clean. Get rid of all the excess, and there you have a cute little magnet. So that's the first one, and I'm going to just show you quickly how I do the other two. And the way I did it is I just kind of cut off a little bit of the bottom, and this one actually might not work. The word might be too big. Oh no, it actually just fits. So if the word's too big, then I would just pick another one, but we've got the high five, and then you just take your epoxy and stick it on top into the little hole. Now this one might be, I'll see what it looks like once it's on, and again just punch, and there you go, and there you have another one. So you just have to make sure that the words, or if you're doing like a picture or something, fits inside. And the last one I have is the chill out. So again, I'm just taking off the bottom so I can fit it in to the machine. And the chill out should work perfectly. Again, just take your epoxy top, and these come in different sizes, but I'm just using the round one for this board. And you just pop it on top, punch it, and there you go. So we have three. These will be the three magnets that I'm putting onto the board. Those are awesome. I love how they turned out. So I'll show you, I'll go grab the board and I'll show you what it looks like once these are on there. So there we go, it's just a little magnetic board. I got it for $5 at Michael's in the clearance section. It's magnetic and it's also dry erase. So I've just added back to school. This will be kind of where we have notes, and this is actually magnetic as well, so it just attaches, which is awesome. The little pen, I just got that at the dollar store. And then I've just added a few of my favorite photos. This is from when we went to Disneyland and California Adventure. So one from Splash Mountain where they all dabbed, and then another one from the Grizzly River Rapids. So those are kind of my two favorite photos right now, and I just added them here, but we can attach anything we need to here, maybe some notices from school that we need signed or anything like that. So this is one of the components of the command center that I'm going to be doing. I also have a couple of more, which I will show you as I go through this back to school video. I know most of the back to school videos you see on YouTube are kids doing back to school videos or young teenagers, but I'm a mom. I do most of the back to school stuff, so I'm doing some back to school videos, and these are mainly for my kids, but a lot more for me as well, trying to get them organized for back to school. So there's project number 1 done, which is just some really fast and easy magnets for dry erase board, your refrigerator, wherever you put your all your information for school. So I'll be back with project number 2 in just a sec. So for my second back to school project, I'm going to do a couple notebooks, and I'm just going to take these cheap composition notebooks that I got at Target last year, and I still haven't used them, so I'm going to cover them, but I'm also going to add a little pocket on the front to add some interest and maybe put in a couple little clips. So the first thing you want to do is just figure out which pattern paper you're going to use, and I'm going to use this really cool stitched pattern paper from Paige Evans, and I'm just going to mark where, and I usually mark it on the back, so I'm just going to mark where I want the paper to go. So you just want to line it up and then use a pencil and just draw kind of guide marks of where you want it cut, so about like that, and then use your paper trimmer to cut it out, and then from there I'm going to use this also for the pocket, this little piece of paper here, so I'm just going to cut it exactly along those lines so that I have a bigger piece left over to use for the pocket. Okay, so you're just going to do that. And then these have rounded edges, so you can either use a corner rounder, or what I usually do is just glue it on first and then just take my scissors and cut along the cornered edges. So I'm just going to glue that on, and I'll be back to show you how I do the pocket. So for the pocket, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to take the leftover piece of 12 by 12 pattern paper that you had. I'm using the back side for the pocket, and you're just going to measure it so that you know where you want to trim it. And again, you're just going to trim it. But what I'm going to do with this pocket is I am going to also make it a diagonal. So I am going to make it have like a little diagonal cut right there, so that we can slip either that way or that way. I think I'll do it that way, so that we can slip a little paper clip and some little notes into the front. So first I'm just going to trim this down, and then I'll just take my paper trimmer and make a diagonal cut. You could do it, you know, if you're if you like to measure and all that, you can totally do that. But I usually just eyeball it. So that's just going to go on. I think I'll do the dark pink on that side. And then I was just thinking maybe, you know, halfway there and halfway there. So you could measure it, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it on my paper trimmer. So what I usually do when I'm trying to eyeball halfway through, and then I just kind of mark it, and then the same thing here, and then just kind of mark it. So we're going to go from this mark to that mark, and we're going to do a cut. So there's our little pocket, and we're just, oh, actually I think, yeah, I'm gonna need more. So let's go maybe from here down just a little bit further. That wasn't quite enough, so we'll go from about there, and we'll go down a little bit further, and let's see how that looks. There we go, that's a little bit better. We could do even a little bit more over here, I think. Let's do just a little bit more. I want to have lots to be able to tape down, so I don't want to do too far on that side, but let's try that. Yeah, I think that'll work. So that's going to be our little pocket, so I'm just going to glue here, and I'm going to glue here and here, and I'm going to glue this little part right here so that this part's really, I'm probably going to stick that down really well, and then it'll give us that little slot so that we can add things in there. So I'll show you how that looks in just a second. Okay, to finish off my little notebook here, I've added my pocket, and I'm making them for my adopted daughter. So I've got their initials here, so I'll be putting all their initials on there. And then I am going to use my Epiphany Crafts Shape Studio tool. This is the heart, and I'm going to make a paper clip. So I've got kind of a word that is the same color as this, and I'm going to use my heart punch to punch it out. So I know I'm probably going to have to sorry, I didn't realize that my video had cut out, but here is the end result. So all I did to make this is use my Epiphany Craft Shape Studio Tool Heart, like I was saying, and I punched out the happy dance, and I just punched out a piece of pattern paper with the same punch, and then you just sandwich the paper clip between them, and I just used my Sukwang tape again to sandwich it in between there, and then I'm adding that to the front. And then I have these little arrow paper clips. I actually found these at IKEA, which I couldn't believe. So I found they had these. They had a couple of different ones, and I also got the numbers. I didn't like the colors for the numbers, but I figured I'd still use them. But I really like the colors. The arrows came in, so I grabbed them. I think they were $3, $3.49 or something, and the numbers were on sale for $1.79. So good deal for a bunch of paper clips. So I added a little paper clip there, and then, like I said, for this little pocket, we can add maybe a little journaling card. So I'm going to put a little note in here for them, and just put a little note that says, you know, hope your first day of high school or school is awesome, and I hope they enjoy these little gifts that I'm making them. So that's project number 2, and I'll be back with project number 3. So the next craft I'm going to do I saw on Pinterest, and it's a little holder for headphones. So they just used one of these little icebreaker Sours candy containers, but I didn't think my son would want a pink and purple one, so I found this Icebreakers Frost, which does the same thing, so it opens up. So I'm just going to clean these out, and I'm going to use these to make a little container for their earbuds to put on their backpack, which I saw on Pinterest. And they just went and saw Suicide Squad. They both loved it. She actually played, the girl that I'm making this for actually played Harley Quinn last year, so I'm going to use the Harley Quinn for hers. And I'm not sure which one I'm going to use for my son. I might use the Suicide Squad, the big one, or I might use the Joker. If I do the Joker, it would end up going that way, like that. So I could do the Joker, but I think I'm going to end up doing the Suicide Squad. So all you have to do is just, on Pinterest they just covered it with fabric. You could cover it with pattern paper, you could cover it with stickers, you could cover it with pretty much anything, but I'm going to use these I just went online, Googled Suicide Squad, and I really love these the posters for Suicide Squad with the bright colors in the background, and my son loves bright colors, so I thought I would use these. And basically you're just going to trace your design onto there. The only thing you have to be cautious about is where it will go in half. So you could either cut the paper in half or just make sure you score it maybe there so that when it folds it's not going to wreck the pattern paper, and you just want to really glue it on there really well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just going to trace these out onto the paper, and I'll be back to show you how I glue them on. Okay, so I've glued them on, and I'm just going to finish them off by taking some black ink or a black pen and just kind of doing an outline around it. I think I'll use black ink and just kind of brush it on just to the edges, just to kind of give it that finishing look. And then the next thing you're going to do is make some holes to slide onto a keychain. This is so that they can attach it to their backpack. So you basically want to just make, these are just jump rings from the dollar store, you can get them anywhere, and I'm just going to make 2 holes into the plastic, and I'm probably just going to use, I have like a little push pin thing that I use, so I'm probably going to use that, just make some holes for this to go through, and attach that to the top of both of them. So I'll do the same thing with that one. I'll be back to show you how that looks. Okay, so there we are. I just took a black pen and just kind of drew around the outside just to kind of finish it off, and added the little keychain for them to hang it on their backpack, and then they can just add in their, so basically they'll just wind it up and pop it open, And then you can put your earbuds in there and they won't get tangled. And you can attach it to your purse or your backpack, wherever you're going. So this is the final project for my first back to school video. I'm hoping there will be another one. I have a few more projects that I'd like to do for back to school. We don't go back to school for another 3 or 4 weeks, so I still have lots of time, but I know most people are already heading back to school in the US, or in Canada it doesn't go till after Labor Day, so we're back to school in the beginning of September. So I hope you enjoyed all my back to school projects, and we will see you next week. Bye!